Everyone, my name is Leah Beaver. I'm in the speech class with you guys. It's Monday, Wednesday, 11 o'clock. Today is April 7th, 2020, and I'm going to be doing a presentation about procrastination. A few things to start off. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get an audience. My family's just really busy and they can't do it, but I figured I'd still do the presentation. Also, you might hear some water in the background. I have a few fish tanks. Unfortunately, I can't really do much about it. Just bear with me. And then lastly, I hope y'all can read the presentation, the PowerPoint. If you can't, I'll try to explain everything vocally too. Alrighty, here we go. So my purpose today is to inform y'all about procrastination. My specific purpose is to hope that you guys understand procrastination to its fullest and to learn how to prevent it and implement it into everyday life in school. And then my thesis is procrastination is a human behavior that affects millions of people, often with dire consequences. So it is important that we learn how to deal with it. And then going on to my introduction. Have you guys ever fallen victim to procrastination? I know y'all can't answer, but the answer is probably yes. Why you guys should listen to me is that procrastination destroys lives, grades, goals. And with this presentation, the method to overcome the struggle will become an achievable and game-changing task. For my thesis, procrastination is a human behavior that affects millions of people, often with dire consequences. So it is important that we learn how to deal with it. And then kind of why you guys should listen to me and what makes me and my argument valid is that this topic has always fascinated me. It's always played a role in my life. I wanted to research and discover how to get my mind behind the nasty habit. I used 4 books from different scholarly sources to guide my presentation, as well as TC databases for additional support. All right, so my main points are going to be, first, I'm going to describe what procrastination is and what causes it. Second, I will explain how procrastination is accelerated. And then third, I will discuss the secret to solving procrastination, All right, and then again, this is just my first point and then also my thesis restated. So what is procrastination? Procrastination is putting off what needs to be done in exchange of doing something else or nothing at all. From my 2 sources, I've learned that, according to Tannick, procrastination happens before or during a task when we make the decision for no valid reason to delay or abandon the task in favor of something less important, despite knowing that there will be negative consequences as a result. And then also from another source, Novotny, says a 2007 meta-analysis by University of Calgary psychologist Piers Steele, PhD, reports that 80% to 95% of college students procrastinate, particularly when it comes to doing their coursework. So what causes procrastination? It's very multifaceted. So Basco, another one of my sources, says the number one reason we procrastinate is because we can. And that's very true. It is common for people who procrastinate to get away with it and not face any unwanted consequences. Emotional reaction paired with negative thoughts is the root of procrastination, also according to Basco. People would rather have happiness immediately rather than eventually. And I know the same is for me. Procrastination is a pattern ingrained in the mind that is incredibly difficult to beat, and some things make the struggle even more troublesome. Going on to my point number 2, procrastination accelerates when busy lives and busy minds become entangled in the mix, but that's not always a bad thing. Some of the factors include when people are tired, they become physically drained, and procrastination is a drowsy person's weakness. Not only do they have to fight off their brain, but also their body. Burchard, one of my sources, mentions in his book how low energy in itself causes general unhappiness, fatigue, lower confidence, and more pessimistic thinking. I'm sorry. Number 2, another one of my sources, Vasco again, says most procrastinators get upset with themselves for procrastinating. Some beat themselves up with words like loser and lazy. Some burden themselves by viewing tasks as demands or obligations. Many procrastinators are very self-critical, but the harsh words do not motivate them to get busy. Factors of procrastination also include that sometimes procrastination is positive. There is such a thing as active procrastination, which means delaying projects that really don't need to be done immediately. 2 things from that are Partnoy, another one of my sources, says many iconic figures have been inveterate procrastinators, from St. Augustine to Leonardo da Vinci to Duke Ellington to Agatha Christie to John Huston to Bill Clinton. He also says that using time wisely towards tasks that need the most attention while still delaying other less important responsibilities allows people to concentrate on the more relevant tasks at hand while also not being stressed by the to-do list of terrors ahead. Choosing procrastination when it can benefit the end result of the product can sometimes lead to success and more authentic drive toward the plans ahead. The procrastinator is their own worst enemy, but there are solutions to overcome the challenges that you may face. My main point number 3 is the secret to solving procrastination. It ultimately comes down to the individual. So how is procrastination solved? Motivation and incentives are keys to meeting deadlines. Tannick, another one of my sources, advocates that praise and reward fosters great motivation. Just like a dog who gets treats after performing a task correctly, humans are the same. Burchard, another one of my sources, says factors that play into motivation include identity, which is personal standards of excellence, obsession with the topic or process, duty, social obligations of purpose, and urgency, the real deadlines. So how is it solved? Again, another secret to conquering procrastination is setting goals. To plan the future is to ferment the task in your mind and encourages an individual to start the climb to reach them. 2 more of my sources to support that is from Sure. Research has shown that the goal a student pursues in an achievement context affects both the outcomes of the achievement situation as well as the emotional reactions to the material. Quoted from a research study from Purdue University, as hypothesized, performance approach goals were significantly positive predictors of procrastination through their relationship with science anxiety only for students with low science self-efficacy and a preference for either low or high difficulty science tasks. These effects were not observed for high efficacy students preferring tasks of low and high difficulty. So this research basically just proves that goals really do impact the end result of if you accomplish a task or not. So my conclusion, again, my main points were about what procrastination truly is, what causes it, how procrastination is accelerated, and the secret to solving procrastination. So to restate my thesis, it was procrastination is a human behavior that affects millions of people, often with direct consequences. So it's important that we learn how to deal with it. Lastly, just to kind of wrap up this presentation, procrastination is an early death for people who want to get things done. Recognizing the harm of procrastination as well as the cause will help people understand how to overcome it. Be cognizant is half the work. Mind over matter. Delayed suffering is still suffering. The rest is just personal perseverance and the drive to better oneself for the future. Overall, procrastination is as harmful as you let it be. Knowing the science and knowing the brain will help tackle such a nasty beast. Remember that it is never too late to self-improve, and it is never too early to start getting things done. And then here are my sources. I've listed them all out loud, and then this is just the written citations. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching my presentation.